Hi everyone. Today we are going to speak about a very important topic, ultra processed foods. They are all around us and a big contributor to our modern day healthcare issues. Actually, they are not even foods but more like factory produced food like items. I promise you, if we can pay attention to these foods, identify them and limit their consumption, they can be a game changer for our family's health. Let's start. We are used to assessing our food based on protein, fat, carb content, but it is high time that we start assessing our food based on the processing that they have gone through. And the global scientific standard in this field is called NOVA food classification. The classification basically has four categories. Number one, whole foods or unprocessed ingredients. These are foods which occur in nature, like you have your raw fruits, vegetables, milk, eggs. Second is processed ingredients. These are products which are not consumed standalone but are used to cook group 1 items. Things like oils, spices, honey, salt. So, ingredients which are used to cook foods. Number three is processed foods, no artificial chemicals, but basically group 1 whole food items and group 2 ingredients mixed together to cook. This is the cooking that we've seen in our kitchens for decades and centuries. So think of chapatis, dals, mixed vegetables, dairy products like cheese, etc., which are nutritious. Number four, ultra processed foods, and this is the problematic classification. These are essentially food like items containing 7, 8, 10 ingredients, a number of them chemical additives which you will not find in your kitchen. Things like preservatives, stabilizers, artificial food colors, emulsifiers. So the process here is basically that you take whole foods, isolate or strip out individual ingredients, and then join them back together using these industrial glues of sorts to enhance taste, flavor, shelf life. Basically biscuits, chips, soft drinks, ready-made juices, packed milkshakes, all of these are very similar to natural foods in looks but essentially very different in nutrition, and they have been linked to all kinds of health issues, heart ailments, gut disorders, renal issues, mental cognitive issues, and even cancer in a number of cases. So this is the classification that we need to watch and limit consumption of. If these ultra processed foods are so harmful, why is it that large multinational companies design and promote these foods so aggressively? Number one, shelf life. Natural food does not last long, but these ultra processed foods can stay on shelves for months and even years. Number two, consistency. These foods are manufactured in large factories with standardized processes and ingredients from chemical labs, which allows companies to maintain texture, taste, size, and everything consistent across countries and continents. Number three, the blissful feeling that these foods create in our mouth. So that perfect combination of salt, sugar, fats, and other flavors and enhancers which trigger a strong dopamine response in our brain, the happiness hormone in our brain, which makes us feel so good and want to have these more and more. And finally, number four, it makes it cheaper and convenient to manufacture these foods at scale, which allows them to offer these at lower prices and also maintain healthy profitability. So essentially, these foods are designed with commercial objectives in mind, and the nutritional value of these ultra processed foods is significantly lower than whole foods or natural foods, because the objective here is different. And that is why we see these foods growing so much, billions of dollars of marketing being pumped into making us feel like these foods should be part of our normal diet, where they should not be. Let us look at three key chemical ingredients which go into ultra processed foods, and you can find them on the back of any product that you pick from the supermarket. Number one, emulsifiers. These are chemicals which are used to keep the mixture of oil and water together in products to give them a consistent feel. Items like creamy biscuits, chocolates, ice creams. But the problem is that these emulsifiers have been linked to disrupting our gut function, our digestive tissues, and linked to things like inflammation, etc. Number two, preservatives. Preservatives are added to stop food from rotting on the supermarket shelves, and they do this by stopping bacterial growth in those products. But the problem is that when they go inside our body, they hurt the good bacteria, which is essential for our digestive function to work well. And that leads to then whole host of health issues. Number three, artificial food colors. Bright red, yellow, green, blue, all the fancy colors that you see on various foods in the supermarkets. But these artificial colors are often derived from petroleum products and have been linked to a variety of health issues in adults and more importantly in kids. And research is now increasingly proving this as well. I will do specific deep dives on each of these three ingredients also because how ubiquitous they are, and it is essential for us to understand what they can do to our body. What does research say about the health impact of consuming these ultra processed foods? The most important study on this topic was the Kevin Hall study done by US National Institute of Health. They created two groups of people and two types of diets. Both diets were identical in macros, so basically fat, protein, fiber, but the sources were different. One group had access to whole foods and the other group had access to ultra processed foods only. And both groups were allowed to eat as much as they wanted. After a couple of weeks of observing these people, the researchers found that the group which was consuming ultra processed foods consumed on average 500 calories more than the first group, and they gained weight more compared to the first group. The group relying on whole foods felt full for longer. Their hunger hormones did not return as fast, and so they ate less, while the other group ate more calories yet felt more and more hungry. Just do an experiment one day. Instead of eating your proper lunch, eat a packet of chips and then observe how soon do you feel hungry again. Do the same with another whole food like your regular meal, and you will yourself be able to find the difference. See, the thing is, these ultra processed foods are not designed for nutrition. They are designed for taste, consistency, and to encourage people to eat more and more. But they are linked to all kinds of health problems, your heart disorders, gut digestion issues, even cancer in some cases when these additives react with other compounds and form more harmful combinations. What do these ultra processed foods do to our kids? For that, we need to refer to the study published in the reputed medical journal, The Lancet, in 2021. The study basically followed kids from their birth to the age 24 and noticed that kids relying on ultra processed foods were more likely to have higher BMI and higher obesity in adulthood. There was another study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition which linked consumption of these ultra processed foods to lower intelligence scores as well as poorer academic performance. In childhood, when their bodies are developing, their minds are developing, at that age, instead of relying on wholesome nutrition, if they are eating these processed foods with a number of chemical ingredients, then obviously their development will get affected. Their body's detoxification systems are also not as evolved. So a combination of this then results in health issues as these kids grow up. Can we rely on regulations to say that whatever is legally permitted is safe for consumption? The short answer is no. Regulations on food vary significantly across the globe. Let's take three clear examples of food additives which are used in India but are banned globally. Number one, titanium dioxide, also known as E171. This is a dye whose job is to give bright white color to products. You can find it in chewing gums. This has been linked to genotoxicity or potential DNA damage, due to which it was banned in Europe recently. But India and US both continue to use it. Number two, Brominated vegetable oil. This is an emulsifier commonly used in sodas, soft drinks, etc. to keep fat and water together. This is linked to thyroid issues, nervous system issues, banned in Europe, Japan, US, but you can still find it on some products in India. Number 3, food colors such as tartrazine or sunset yellow, very commonly used in India and have been linked to behavioral disorders in kids. So European Union has a rule that any products which contain these additives have to come with a big warning label for kids, but no such rule exists in the US or in India. And finally, one important point to note, regulations world over only look at testing of individual chemicals, and the combination of these chemicals can form other compounds whose harmful effects you don't understand. How do we identify these ultra processed foods so that we can make better choices? Number 1, check the ingredient list. If it runs into 7, 8, 10 ingredients, including items you have not heard of, then that's a red flag. Number 2, check for these words: emulsifiers, stabilizers, flavor enhancers, artificial colors. These are all industrial chemicals not supposed to go into your body. Watch out for them. Number 3, shelf life. Check the shelf life of products and compare it with if you were to make the same product at home. So simple overall test is just try to imagine if this same product in this form can be made at home and can be kept for such a long time. The real food that we make at home has life in it, and which is why it dies. Packed food in supermarkets does not. So we learned that ultra processed foods are food like items built in large industrial facilities using chemical ingredients which are not found in a traditional kitchen. And these foods are not designed to provide nutrition but for shelf life, taste, consistency, and profitability. And there is strong research to link these foods to digestive issues as well as a number of other health problems. In India, we honestly have strong traditions of whole foods and home cooking, but this is one thing we should not sacrifice and blindly copy the Western tradition of consuming ultra processed foods. You look at the healthcare situation in the US, it's a disaster, and we don't want to get there, but we are on our way there with how the trends are. There is no need to eliminate these foods, but we need to limit the quantity that we consume. It's only with healthy eating and wholesome eating that we can build a healthy society.